Hey guys, welcome to another video from Historic Militaria. Today we're looking at another standard Conehammer Mauser broomhandle. This one was made between 1896 and 1898, probably actually closer to 1897. It's in the 6000 serial number range, and it's just got kind of an interesting history. This actually came out of a town near San Francisco, California, where it had been in the family since it was purchased new. Exactly how it was purchased, I'm not exactly sure, but I do know that a few early broom handles were actually imported into the United States and were sold on the retail level. I'm not sure if they were von Leeuwenhoek and Detmold, but there are some pretty well documented pictures and whatnot of early American, early 1900s folks carrying broom handles around, and certainly some made it to Mexico fairly early on, and they did spread around. But anyway, this is just a kind of a cool one that had been in the family for 120 years and finally was decided to let it go. So we'll take a look at this one and just how well cared for it was. It's definitely been shot a little bit. It's got a little bit of carry wear here and there, but obviously it's got really nice high condition commercial grade blue that you will see on these early cone hammers. It's got nice milling and everything, and as you can see, it's got a very thick layer of blue, which is typical for cone hammers. It really does cover the milling marks which are on your side panels here, and everything else is nicely polished. As always, the cone hammer is called a cone hammer because of that concentric ringed hammer that cones out on either side there. And you've got your standard wide grips here with the wide serrations, and your typical ring that pretty much all the broom handles are going to have. It's kind of a typical thing that you're going to see on broom handles, is that ring at the bottom. This one also has got no British proof marks, which is also typical of one that was not sold on the retail level in England. A lot of these were. So it's going to be pretty common to flip them over and see a lot of Birmingham proofs underneath here. This one does not have that. You're going to see a couple of random marks and letters on these. Those are just Mauser marks that really don't mean anything, so don't give them a lot of thought. You're also going to have your typical Ulm antler mark right there, which Mauser kept using, or actually German guns in general kept using, till about serial number 35,000 on the broom handle. This one's a little bit interesting because it has been modified to give a better sight picture. This brass piece has been grafted to the top of the sight, and that's actually a pretty common addition on the early American guns. I know that von Leeuwenhoek and Detmold actually did that on a professional level on some of their small ring hammers and their late large ring hammers. You'll actually see that as a modification when they were sold on the retail level. Now this one may have been done that way, may not have been. Either way, it was nicely done. And take a look at the other side of this. You've got your standard cone hammer trigger, which is going to be a little bit different than other Mauser triggers. As you can see, it's the spring mechanism in there is going to be a little bit different. Nothing to really worry about, just something that stopped by about serial number 20,000. And you've got your standard crown U mark here. And this one actually has got a sight graduated out to 500 meters, which is fairly common for cone hammers to have. I know a lot of Mausers have got the 1,000 meter sight, but these occur fairly often in the broom handle serial number range. Up to about 15,000, you're going to see the 500 meter rear sight. And then your long extractor, which is going to be fire blued, and your fire blued plate right here, which protects your firing pin. And as always, the serial numbers are going to be here, and then on your hammer, and then when you cock this, underneath the hammer on the bolt. But Just kind of an interesting cone hammer. Fairly early gun. This one's in the 6000 serial number range. And the really appealing thing about these cone hammers is that they are classified as antiques under ATF regulations here in the United States. So you don't need to go through a lot of the paperwork that you would need to do to purchase a regular gun. As a matter of fact, generally, and this is just generally, you don't need a background check, and you can purchase one of these and actually send it through the mail or send it to a private party without any kind of paperwork or anything like that. So that's why these early broom handles, the cone hammers at least, are pretty popular with a lot of collectors, and why they do command somewhat of a premium. As always, if you've got an interesting broom handle story of one that you've had in your family, I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comment section. And as always, like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.